going on, guys? Mock draft today, joined by Connor Rogers and Trevor Sikma. Wanted to work with these guys for a while, but Connor said I needed more subscribers, so finally here, and we're gonna do a mock draft. What's up?
Finally hit the count.
Yeah.
You finally hit the subscriber count that Trevor would sign off on. Yeah,
Oh, now it's Trevor. Now it's Trevor dragging him into it, huh?
Trevor from Good Morning Football. Trevor from the Paul Feinbaum Show. Trevor. No, happy to be here, dude. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, they should be. They should be. You guys can check them out. Link is down in the description. You guys have the NFL Stock Exchange or NFL Draft. It's a good podcast. You should check it out. I got the name. Okay, I got it.
You nailed it.
I nailed it.
It was good.
3 words, kind of tough, but
Just the sex addicts is what they like to call
oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. God bless him. It is. It's funny. You launch a podcast and you go like, oh, like I wonder what our diehards are gonna be called, like loyal fans, or like what are they gonna be called? And then for like week 1, Connor's like, you're not gonna believe this. There's a group chat of people who listen to the podcast who call themselves the sex addicts now.
It makes sense. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab one team apiece, and we're gonna do trades as well. So if, let's say, I pick at number 3, I would have as well number 6, number 9. Maybe I'm Seattle and I want to trade up to that number 4 spot with the Jets, and I would, say whoever has the 4 spot, and I would ask to move up and negotiate that way. So should be a fun little twist on a classic mock draft. And we'll say, I'll take the number 1 spot, just make it easy. We'll get number 2 is going to be Trevor. Number 3 is going to be Connor.
Nice.
So,
that's what I wanted.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Can't have you picking for the
3?
Jets.
Yeah, I wanted 3.
Okay.
I wanted nothing to do with the Jets.
Too much of that at this point.
Right. Yeah.
Too much.
Well,
too much.
Well, sick.
Same reason why I'm avoiding the Giants as much as I can. All right.
I can't do multiplications of 3 that fast, so I don't know which teams I'm.
Yeah, I'm good until about 9, and then it starts to get a little bit tougher for me.
Yeah.
Not really a math major.
Bengal, we gotta ask you: are we doing what we think will happen, or are we doing what we would do?
Ooh, great question.
That is.
You know why I panicked? Is because I know I'm picking for the Panthers, so I could do math. Yeah, it's an important question for the Panthers.
That is a very important question.
I would say you can kind of hybrid it out. Okay. I know that's kind of a curveball, but
that's okay.
Yeah, I would say maybe mix it up.
Yeah, I'll probably go predictive for most of it, but like if I just really want to rage against what I think the team's going to do, I might switch it up.
Yeah, I think that's entirely fair. Okay, so I'll start things off. I'll go, you know what? I'll throw you guys a curveball. We're going to go Trayvon Walker, number 1. Still think it's probably going to be Hutchinson, but haven't done this yet on the channel, and I want to experiment with the possibility.
I don't think it's a curveball.
Oh, you were ready for this?
I think they're going to pick Walker.
Really?
I think they're going to pick Walker. Yep, I do. After listening to Trent Baalke at his pre-draft press conference where he talked about, there's 4 names that we're deciding between, and the way that he talked about kind of like defended Trayvon Walker's lack of production, and he also called Aiden Hutchinson like a good player. Ooh. He said there are a lot of good players in this draft. And look, he's not going to be overly gushy about the guy, but at the same time, you don't have to lie.
They had the number 1 pick.
They have the number 1 overall pick, so they don't have to lie about it.
The NFL does tell them, though, to keep their cards tight. They like the surprise. But I do agree, Trevor. I do agree.
I think that I think Walker's going 1. I do.
Very bulky thing to do.
Yeah, the 6 to his guns.
Bulky.
So it's amazing he's still the GM. He just keeps getting jobs.
Football franchise.
Those Niners teams or something else.
Truly is. Hey, let's clean house in Jacksonville, but keep Trent Baalke. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff there. All right, so I'm up at 2.
You are.
I was told by Jeff Risden in our guest mock draft series that this player is still in the conversation for them, and that is Kayvon Thibodeau. And I think if I was making the pick, I would be picking Thibodeau here. But because I know the people who are going to watch the show, obviously it's about to be draft week. We're coming towards what will actually happen. I'll keep this one more predictive because I honestly believe that if Aiden Hutchinson's on the board at 2, it's going to be super simple for the Lions. So we'll go Aiden Hutchinson at number 2 here. I would be picking Kayvon Thibodeau, but I just kind of want to get a little bit more of a prediction here, especially at the top, because I know that your listeners are going to kind of want to pick our brains a little bit on what we might think. So I'll go Aiden at 2.
Certainly
that
fair.
That could have got off the rails real quick.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he slides to 3.
I was like, oh, this is going to be a really spicy mock. At number 3, I'm not getting spicy at all. I'm taking Ike Ekwonu. I think for the Texans, this is a building block pick. This is a guy that right now, if you want him to play guard or right tackle, I think he could do it. And then long term, after the Laramie Tunsil era ends, he might kick out to left tackle unless you don't want to get too crazy with him bouncing around. But they couldn't run the football last year. Abysmal in that area. He's one of the best run blockers I've ever seen in the draft. You know, a couple of hairs behind what Quentin Nelson was coming out. That kind of impact run blocker. So Ekwonu, especially with Caserio there, they're going to build in the trenches, both sides of the trenches. I think Ekwonu will be the pick in the spot, and it's what I would do as well.
Yeah, kick Titus Howard out to tackle, probably his best spot anyway. Kind of not ideal at guard. Yeah.
He cannot play guard.
Right.
I don't know if he could start on the line, but he's going to have to, so yeah.
All right, Connor, your Jets at number 4. I'm not going to take too much time on this anyway.
Don't blow it. Don't blow it. Don't blow it.
It's actually pretty easy for you.
Yeah, I think I just have to go Kayvon Thibodeau here. Just think so highly of him as a player, and Jets could use another rotational pass rusher. I do love their defensive line. I say that every time I take an edge rusher. And you have a number of good players here, but I think I'm okay with George Fant and Mekhi Becton at the tackle spots for right now. Get Kayvon Thibodeau at 4 and get a potential game-changing edge rusher, especially with Carl Lawson's injury concerns. I think this should be the guy.
Love the pick. Spot on. I think it's what they'll do. We'll see if they're lucky enough that they can get him, right? A guy that was viewed as the number 1 player in the draft, about a year ago and dominated as a freshman and only got better since. But, obviously some guys have surpassed him. This would be a very fortunate situation for the Jets.
All right, Giants at 5.
Now you don't screw this up, all right? Now it's me going down in your neck.
I actually have no idea what your preference is here at number 5.
Yeah, I'm up in the air. I have a number of players I like, but the Giants have 5 and 7. So I've had a number of names that I've kind of looked for. But
okay, who are the names? Like, who would you be cool with at 5 or 7? Just give me like a handful of names
based on how the board has fallen.
Yeah. Like based on this, because I think this is pretty realistic.
Yeah,
I really do. The only other name that we might get off the board is actually I'm looking at it. I think that these are the 4. It's going to be some order of these 4. So yeah, let me know who you want here.
Yeah, I would say my 4 for 5 and 7 based on the way the board has fallen is Sauce, Evan Neal, Jermaine Johnson, and Charles Cross. I would say that's the big 4 for me right now.
I am going to go with, and I was going to go with this player before I heard your 4, but I wanted to hear your 4. I'm going to go with Charles Cross. And we had Pat Leonard, who covers the New York Giants, on our podcast for the Guest Mock Draft series. And we had him early on, because obviously this is an early pick. So we had him on at the end of March as we were doing the series. And he picked Charles Cross at number 5 for the Giants because he thinks they like him the most. Like, he's like, they like Charles Cross a lot. They have talked well about him. The sources that I talked to say that they really like him as well. I think they're going to want to pick the offensive lineman here because I also know they want corner. But I think they're going to go with the offensive tackle here because Carolina might go offensive tackle, but there's no way they go corner. So it makes too much sense for them to logically play the draft this way. Go with Charles Cross, really good pass protector. They said that they have not done Daniel Jones justice yet, and what he's had is offensive line in front of him and his weapons around him. You get Charles Cross in there. You've got Andrew Thomas, who had a good year last year on one side, Charles Cross on the other. That's pretty damn solid. So I'm going to go with Charles Cross, and I think they do. I think they like him a lot.
Yeah, I saw an article today kind of corroborating that, so I don't mind that at all.
I mean, he's a great player. Obviously he's been preparing to play on the right side if you need him to, so it's not crazy at all. And no, I think the only wild card guys, we talked about how we think the top 4 is set. Just depends what the order is. Evan Neal maybe could sneak in at number 3 if they view him as a more traditional tackle than Icky and feel they need that on the right side. then maybe Evan Neal is at 3. That's the only wild card I see, and that would kind of change how things go here. But number 6, Carolina. I'm not going to go quarterback in this spot. I'm going to take Evan Neal. I can't put my, and I really do think they will take Kenny Pickett. I don't know when. There's a lot of rumors that they want to get out of this pick and still draft him. I don't know how easy it'll be to get out of 6 for adequate value, but with Evan Neal on the board, it would be a lot easier. You also ask yourself, why would Carolina pass on Evan Neal? So I take Evan Neal here to solidify that offensive line. I know it's disappointing going into the season again with Sam Darnold. Maybe they look into a Baker Mayfield trade and have the unthinkable Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield competing in camp. But I'm not passing Evan Neal in this spot when there's a need there.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, of course. You know, I thought I was going to look to trade out of this pick, but
I think they want to trade. I think they want to trade 7.
Yeah, Joe Shane's talked about getting more swings of the bat, if you will, and I think they're a team in position to do so, but then it's about, who's moving up and for whom. I don't know that any quarterback is really worth trading up for in this spot, because who are you jumping? You're jumping Seattle. Maybe the Falcons could take a QB, but I think that roster is a little bit too weak overall.
Someone wants Sauce.
That's true. I think the Giants definitely could. Wink Martindale defense coming in. Press man corner is going to be so important. So I think I am going to stick. Jermaine Johnson, I love him as a player, available at 7, but I am going to take Sauce. I think just a little bit too good a value to pass up here at 7, especially the position is so important for the Giants' new defense. So it makes the pick fairly easy for me at this point.
8 Falcons. This is one where I think they could definitely move back. Now, I also thought that last year where they really might have had a king's ransom to move back at 4 and they stuck with it and picked Kyle Pitts. So, I mean, the teams that I would see maybe moving up are do the Vikings at 12 want to jump Seattle and the Jets, who both have cornerback needs, if they want their choice between? Oh no, you just picked Sauce. So I guess it would be for Stingley. So that would increase their maybe desperation, if you will, to move up. Obviously, the Steelers are picking at 20 if they want to move all the way up from Malik Willis, which I don't know if they're going to move.
It's a long way to go.
That's a long way to go. It really is. It really is.
For a guy that might not play for you year 1.
Right. I'll stay here for the Falcons. I'm going to go Jermaine Johnson. Look, I know a lot of people have them going like Kyle Hamilton or sometimes a wide receiver. Atlanta's roster sucks. I don't know how else to. There's no reason for me to sugarcoat it. It's bad. It's really bad. And this team's going to be bad next year. So why not just take the player at the more premium position? I'd either go Derek Stingley here or Jermaine Johnson. I went Jermaine Johnson, obviously, but you convinced me one of those two guys. I think those are a much better use of the number 8 overall pick than a wide receiver or a safety. So I'll go Jermaine here today.
Absolutely. Sounds like typical Bucs fan slander to me, but
I don't even. The thing is, Bengal.
Oh, they're irrelevant. He's gonna say it.
I don't even have to try. It's embarrassing.
They really are a bottom roster.
I'm so spoiled right now as a Bucs fan with Tom Brady as my quarterback, and Carolina's a dumpster fire. New Orleans has never been worse in the last 10 years. And
except for beating the Bucs twice a year every year.
Okay, all right. So it's gonna happen, but guess who's gonna make the playoffs? And guess who is? So,
Jameis Winston.
I hope we need playoff Jameis. We.
Collectively, he got LASIK. He can see now. So
human
it's
species,
helpful.
We need playoff Jameis. We really do.
The memes would be too crazy.
All right, number 9. I got Seattle here. There's not really a lot of ways to go. They're paying 2 safeties. They're not taking Kyle Hamilton. The offensive linemen are gone. I'm not taking Trevor Penning. This pick has to be Derek Stingley, I think, in this spot. I think when you look at it, they're going to go with the guy that has all the upside in the world. They have a need at corner, and they're a team that who the freaking hell knows what they're trying to do. I mean, they got 1 foot in the pool, 1 foot out. They're going to keep DK Metcalf, but they're going to blow it up elsewhere. They're paying 2 safeties, but a lot of the roster stinks. They have no quarterback. I have no idea what they're trying to do, so at that point, just take, the guy that has the highest ceiling and hope for the bright future.
Yeah, like that. Ooh.
Would you have picked Jermaine if he was there at 9?
Yes, I would have. They need pass rush help,
okay.
and they value those guys. Like his 10-yard split would fit what they look for.
Yeah, he was like 1.6 flat, something close.
I think he was in the 1.5s.
Oh,
1.59. It was something crazy. It's
pretty
Nobody's
good.
talking about it. Just bizarre to me.
Well, when he ran with the linebackers, and they didn't show the 10-yard split on screen. So maybe that's an immediate thing.
1.55. 97th percentile.
Okay, that's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, I thought it was that 1.59, 1.6 number. 1.55 is absurd. He's a freak. I mean, after he dominated the Senior Bowl too, it's kind of amazing he doesn't have more hype.
Dude,
If you take him at 4 for the Jets, the fans freak out.
I've seen a lot of people lately on the timeline saying they don't like Jermaine. Like there's a lot of people who are kind of like pushing back, where it's like, he's more of a late first round, early second round guy. Like I know Mike and Austin, my colleagues over at PFF, they don't love Jermaine. They don't think he's a bad player, but he's way lower on PFF's big board than he is the consensus. And
6th overall player.
Right, I'm much closer to that. I don't think he's going to be that high for me when it's all said and done, but I'm closer to you than I am to them. He's good.
You know he's going to be this great run defender that has the value, and then it's just I feel like the entire reason we have the offseason process is so we can kind of see guys develop from what we didn't get to see on tape sometimes, and the Senior Bowl for me was just so huge for him, where he was just, in my opinion, you guys correct me if you feel differently, I think he was just the best player there. So
Not even close. He didn't even need to be there after the first hour.
That's why he stopped.
He was than everyone else. Yeah.
Jet to 10. You know, I feel like this is really easy at this point. It's got to be a receiver.
Yep.
Now the question is,
can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong.
We have 3 different types here, and I like
Right.
that. And I'm gonna. This is interesting, but I'm gonna maybe go in the direction that Connor's kind of pushed a little bit at least. I'm gonna take Jameson Williams here. Get arguably the best deep threat in the entire draft, and I don't really feel like the Jets have, and a lot of teams don't, right? But they don't really have a player that can do what he can do down the field. Just has a different gear over the top. And Zach Wilson loves to throw the long ball, and I think Jameson Williams would be really, really fun for that combo. So I'm going to avoid the Wilson and Wilson combo and just take Jameson Williams earlier than I've probably taken him. And receiver 1 off the board seems wild, but he was arguably the best receiver in college football last year before injury, and his rehab seems to be going really, really well. He could be back for week 1, I think, pretty feasibly.
I think my hottest take is, even if the Jets traded for Deebo Samuel, and it won't be one of the first-round picks, it won't be 4 or 10, I think I'd still take Jameson Williams at 10 and just not care. And just roll out.
Why the hell not,
Why not? Hey, Corey Davis isn't going to be on the team in 2023, so your trio for the future with Zach Wilson's Jameson, Deebo, and Elijah Moore. Roll out with that.
The way I kind of feel about these receivers, at least we'll say Jameson and Drake London, they both have 2 trump cards, right? Drake London's the jump ball guy, which I don't know how well that's going to necessarily translate. Jameson Williams is the speed guy, and I think that is going to translate. He's just the fastest player on the field. So I would feel more comfortable with him. I really would. Like, Jameson Williams has that, top deep threat in the league type ability, whereas Drake London could be Kenny Golladay, and that's, decent, but I'm not sure that's warranting a top 10 pick.
Well, I'm going to take him at 11. So
he's still good, but,
People thought, no, I agree. We love Drake London over on our podcast, so I'm going to take him at 11. I think they have to get some sort of complimentary piece with Terry McLaurin. They've got Logan Thomas. They have Terry McLaurin, obviously. They've got a couple of lower depth guys. They've got Antonio Gibson, who is a kind of a useful chess piece that you can use in the rush game and the receiving game, but they still need that go-to guy. They really do. And especially if you're building it around Carson Wentz. I mean, he was able to throw some really good contested catch receivers over the years. Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, of course. And then I think that if you get another guy like that in with him in Washington, that's going to lead to a lot of successful offense. At least that I believe with that duo of how Wentz likes to play and the way that Drake London wins. So I like him a lot. I agree that contested guys who make their money off of contested catches, it's always nerve-wracking, right? I mean, we just saw the news JJ Arcega-Whiteside's moving to tight end because he can't hang wide receiver because he didn't have the separation. Kelvin Harmon was the same way. There's just a lot of those like bigger bodied receivers who, if they don't have a separation profile, it's hard because corners in the NFL are stronger, they're faster, the throwing windows get tighter, all that kinds of stuff. But Drake London was so dominant at that. I still think that survives in the NFL, and not just survives, I think it thrives. I think he plays really well with it. So I'll go with him at 11.
All right, 12, the Vikings.
Let me propose something to you, Connor. I'd like to move up.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be 16 with the Saints, right? I think so.
Yes.
I'd like to move up here. Now, I don't think the exact details are going to matter so much for just this mock draft, but yeah, I'll give you 16 and like the second, just to make that, or third, make that easy. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm good with that because I'm not like jacked up about the board right now. There's no Stingley for them. There's no Jermaine for them.
Yeah, what do we got? Where are the picks?
I know who I would have taken at 12, but I don't care enough that I need to stay. I'd rather get more draft capital for a team that has more holes than people realize. One of the better rosters in the NFL consistently, but now not anymore. They've got holes, multiple holes.
3? Yeah, that'll work.
All right, let's do a pick swap too. We'll do a 5 and a 6. All right.
Oh hell yeah! Everybody love a good pick swap.
Swappy. Yeah, I gotta
love it.
All right, I'm gonna take Garrett Wilson here at this spot.
That's
then.
who I was gonna take, but I'm not attached to the player for them.
Nice.
Run on receivers here. Obviously, the Ohio State connection. They love their guys, and yeah, Jameis Williams landing off the board 1 and 2. I think you might see a team that really needs help at receiver try to make a little bit of a move up.
Okay, so I'm up at 13 with the Texans. I also control the Steelers, I believe, and I want to make a deal with the Steelers moving up to 13 because
Fleece yourself.
Malik Willis, yeah, I'm gonna fleece myself as the chat thought I did when I did a trade like that the last time we had a mock draft. I think you'll probably have to give up a 2 because they pick at 52. I think. Can they do a 3?
They can. You want to throw in both?
No. I just meant like instead of a 2, because obviously the offer acceptance is super high when it's just a 3 would work.
Now I don't know if this is something that gets accepted in real life, but
all right. So then why don't we just say this? I'd be comfortable doing either. Like the Steelers are going to get aggressive here, so maybe I'm fleecing myself. But we'll go a first and a third for the Texans pick right there, which gives them a lot of ammo in this draft. But Nick Caserio is someone who I was looking up some old draft quotes of his previously, and he said having more picks is more advantageous. It just is, because the draft is a massive crapshoot. You want to have more darts to throw at the dartboard. So Houston stockpiling picks like that is not unrealistic, and it's absolutely something that we could see happen on day 1 of the draft. So I'm going to have the Steelers taking Malik Willis. They have to be looking at that gauntlet of, well, before you made the trade with New Orleans, Philly picks twice, New Orleans picks twice, and it's not just the fact that both of those teams could take a quarterback at either of those picks. They could also take trades from anyone behind the Pittsburgh Steelers if they wanted to move up for whatever reason. So I'm going to have them getting aggressive going up to get their guy. Steelers love Malik Willis. It's the worst kept secret in the league. So we'll go with that at 13.
All right, Bengal, I think you have the Ravens. The trade up kind of threw us off.
Yeah, I'm like, did I do math wrong? Which is quite possible.
You have the Ravens, and then I go back to back.
Yeah, I'm not really a math guy, it turns out. Adding up to like 4 is extremely difficult. I'm just gonna pull the trigger quick then. Let's go Jordan Davis.
Yeah, have to.
Yeah.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
Move.
I was just talking with Connor on our podcast about this, but Jordan Davis's over-under is 13 and a half, I think, right now. I find it so hard to believe that the NFL is going to pick 13 players before Jordan Davis,
right?
In this draft class. I don't know where it's going to fit in. I don't know how to make it like fit in like very nicely, but I just, from a bird's eye view, if you will, how is the NFL going to take 13 players over Jordan Davis? I don't think it's going to happen. So,
yeah, I'm with you there. All right, I got back-to-back picks here. Eagles at 15. Wide receivers went kind of fast and furious.
I did. There's still one very good one left.
But I'm still going to take Chris Olave here.
Gotta do
and
it. Gotta do it.
I actually like Traylon Burks better than Chris Olave. I know that's a hot take still at this point. I just think he's more physically gifted. I think Olave is going to have some play strength adjusting going on at the next level, but he's a nice fit here still. He's really smooth. He knows how to get open. It's a nice add to the Eagles offense that you just can't put everything on Devontae Smith. It's going to hurt everyone in that offense if it's just him out there. So Eagles get their wide receiver and get to pick again soon. Back on the clock with the Vikings, who moved out of 12. Man, I think this is where Kyle Hamilton has to come off the board. It's really just taking the best player available. The Vikings are a weird team. I struggle with them for where they're picking. We know if they were in the top 10, it would just be Sauce Gardner or Stingley. It would be the easiest mock draft of all time. When you get to their pick at 12, and those guys are always gone. I know Harrison Smith is there. He makes a lot of money, but I mean, hell, roll out him and Kyle Hamilton. You get the best player available. I can't sell anyone else here. Trent McDuffie, I could sell here. I know they need a corner. I don't know if they would take a small corner like him.
Yeah,
with the arm
I don't
length
know
limitations. And that's it. It's Trent McDuffie or Kyle Hamilton, so I'll roll with Hamilton.
Okay. All right, so that's me, right? I'm up at 17, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think we're back on. I think we're back on track
yes.
now.
The trades kind of threw everything in a tizzy.
No, we're
that's the fun part of it, though, right?
It is.
Yeah,
it
this
is.
is good. This is good.
Yeah, absolutely confusing yourself. That is the fun part of it. 17. I'm gonna go with Trent McDuffie here. I think Trent McDuffie's too good to not be a top 20 pick in this class. I get
agree,
that
Trevor.
the size profile was not exactly what you wanted, but here's the thing: we kind of always knew that, right? I mean, like, you look at him, and you go, okay, he's not as physically gifted, but he's so smart. He understands the position so well. He's super driven. He loves the game, wants to play safety, wants to play slot, wants to play outside. He wants to play all these things for you. And so in Brandon Staley's defense, I think that gives him a lot of versatility, especially with a guy like Asante Samuel. You put whoever you want in the slot. Sometimes you could even confuse offenses with put one guy in the slot one play, then switch it up a couple plays later when they go with their nickel defense. So I'm going to go Trent McDuffie at 17. I just think it's too good for them to pass up.
Yeah, I absolutely love Trent McDuffie, and I'm not sure if you guys know Andre Weingarten, Swami.
Oh yeah,
We were talking about Trent McDuffie just gushing in the DMs. This is not just a corner; it's just like football player. It's like whatever he can do.
Oh yeah,
love it. So love Trent McDuffie, and we know the size limitations won't be a problem for the Chargers after taking Asante Samuel Jr. last year.
Who's also a good football player.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I like McDuffie a little bit better.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. But I did like Asante a lot last year.
All right, this is me now with the Eagles, and I think this one becomes a little bit more difficult for me. I kind of have 3 or 4 guys I'm super interested in. So I love Daxton Hill, and for similar reasons that I love Trent McDuffie. Devontae Wyatt is just really, really good and right here. And then we got a guy like George Karlaftis, maybe the best edge rusher available. We saw a run early, haven't seen one in a really long time. And after that, could thin out a bit at the position. You're talking about Mafe, maybe Ebiketie. Seems a bit early for either of those guys. And then maybe even Devin Lloyd. I always have him drop in these mocks and know how he doesn't love to take a linebacker early. So I'm going to avoid that. And I think Devontae Wyatt is just too good to pass up on, especially with Fletcher Cox back on a 1-year deal, and that's it probably. I'm just going to take Devontae Wyatt. I think too highly of the player.
Go ahead, Trevor.
I was just about to say Chris Olave and Devontae Wyatt's too hell of that's a hell of a haul there for the Eagles.
Very high floor, that haul, which should be pretty good for a team that obviously made the playoffs last year. I know a lot of people mocked them for that, but at the end of the day, that division, you could do pretty well in that division. Sorry, Bengal. All right.
I've seen pain for the last 5-6 years. I'm all right with it. I'm used to it now. I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess.
The Saints got Garrett Wilson in the trade up at 12, and they are back on the clock at 19. This is a pick that I would not do, but I am sure would happen in the spot. Trevor Penning is going to come off the board here. They need a tackle really badly. So in that sense, I get it. I think Tyler Smith is the better prospect. Maybe not the better player today, but the better prospect. I would take Tyler Smith here if I had to go tackle, but I know how the NFL views Penning. He seems like a top 20 lock. It's crazy, but we are here And I think they made that trade, as Trevor said, to split their cards, get 2 players in this draft. And if you're looking at 2 positions for them, I think it's what we did: wide receiver and tackle.
The Texans up at 20. This one's super easy for me. It's going to be George Karlaftis. I mean, I think that the Texans would take Karlaftis at 13. I mean, I think that he'd be on the board for them there. So for them to trade down a little bit and get him, the teams that are picking twice, the Jets got Thibodeau and Jamison Williams. The Eagles got Chris Olave and Devontae Wyatt. The Saints got Trevor Penning and Garrett Wilson. And then Houston Texans, they got Ike Ekwonu and George Karlaftis. Like, these teams that are picking twice. Oh, and then the Giants as well with Cross and Sauce Gardner. So that's, I mean,
Cross and Sauce.
Hey, Cross and
there
Sauce.
There you go.
I
Good
do.
T-shirt.
That's
a T-shirt when they do that.
Great T-shirt. All right, so yeah, Karlaftis at 20. This is too easy for me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fairly easy for me here at 21 as well. I mean, maybe Devin Lloyd, but I think Zion Johnson's like too classic of a Patriots pick here. Ooh. Traded Shaq Mason. First interior offensive lineman off the board, and maybe for good reason. Really good player.
All right, Green Bay here. Oh, man, this is tricky, but I'm going to go with Treylon Burks. I wanted to take Daxton Hill in this spot. I'm not convinced Green Bay is taking a wide receiver early. I know they almost have to. I'm curious how Aaron Rodgers would feel if he goes to sleep Thursday night and they have not drafted a wide receiver. That's going to be fun on Twitter. But in this spot, I will take Treylon Burks. I think they know how to get creative with him. You're already hearing they are one of the teams in on Deebo Samuel. I do not think Treylon Burks is Deebo Samuel, despite that being a thing. But I think that he is a player that you can be creative with on pitch passes, jet sweeps. He could be a big slot. He could win vertically on the outside. You do have to get a little creative with him, but the manufactured touches are phenomenal. It's a system that you have to be a top-notch run blocker on the outside. That is absolutely him. I like the fit a lot.
Man, normally at 23 for the Cardinals, we have one of Devontae Wyatt, George Karlaftis, or Zion Johnson on the board for them. All 3 are off the board. I think in this situation, well, you never know with Steve Keim, who has some of the strangest draft history that I've ever seen. I went over.
You want a linebacker here?
Let's roll up Devin Lloyd. No, I'm just kidding. So, no, Nakobe Dean. Let's give him a small linebacker.
Oh, there you go.
So, I think they should pick Kenyon Green. Like, Kenyon Green should probably be on the forefront of their mind, but I'm not going to take him here. I'm going to take Arnold Ebiketie because this is going to be a little bit of a shout out. I think this is honestly where his range is going to begin, maybe even a little bit higher, guys. Like, I think that the NFL really likes this dude. Had some fantastic explosive scores, which really checked the box for his tape that you saw consistently when he was at Penn State. And when you look at the edge rush room for the Cardinals, without Chandler Jones,
brutal.
It's nobody. I mean, it's Marcus Golden back. It's J.J. Watt, who's super old now, and who knows what he's going to be able to give you, how healthy he's going to be. I think that they would look to Arnold Ebiketie above everything else. So I'm gonna go with him here at 23.
I compared him to Yannick Ngakoue. That's how good I think he is. I just think he's somebody that is so good around the corner. He's built differently. He's a more compact kind of player. But you're right, Trevor. Those explosive scores, he's going to translate pretty quickly. And when you're an older prospect, you have to. But it's okay.
You know, I think I would have taken Ebiketie at 24 if not for him going off the board here at 23. So I feel like that really only gives me one option I'm truly comfortable with, and that's going to be Kenyon Green here. Got to replace Connor Williams, and you're probably even upgrading in the process. So, yeah, Green didn't test well, but he looks so athletic on tape that it's a little bizarre. I don't know what was going on with that, but he fits exactly what they want to do. Run the ball, mauler, and plug and play for this offensive line.
25 for the Bills. This is a...
Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it, Connor? Are you going to do it?
I need to be let in here. What's going on? We're talking about a running back?
A running back. I'm not taking Breece Hall because Dax Hill's on the board. They obviously have a unique situation ongoing very publicly with one of their safeties in Jordan Poyer. And even if they didn't, they are a team that'll draft in a 3-year window, not a 2-month window. Dax Hill will be on the field even if their 2 starting safeties are healthy because he's the best slot in the entire draft. He can do whatever you need him to do. So Dax Hill, if he makes it to 25, my God. I mean, that's a perfect pick for the Bills. He'd be my highest graded player here, I think, looking at the board, besides Linderbaum, of course. And it'd be a slam dunk for Buffalo. And you got to be able to cover in the AFC. Everybody's rolling out 3 deep at weapons, so Dax Hill's going to play.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, Dax Hill, the Buffalo, but that seems like a perfect fit.
Good now.
Shouldn't be there.
If they've got any safety concerns at all, I think that could definitely be in play, as could Lewis Cine, honestly. So yes. Tennessee's got a big offensive line need. You're going to have to scroll down a little bit for this one, but I'm going to go Tyler Smith. I think that Tyler Smith is the player that they are going to target. TDN's got him listed as interior offensive lineman. I think that he's got the versatility to play either interior or tackle. He would play interior for the Tennessee Titans, but who knows? There might be some tackle in his future, which I think is honestly the progression that he should have. Let him be on the inside. Let him get some help. Let him improve the technique, the hand usage, everything, and just let him be a bully. Let him be a mauler like he shows on tape. And so I think it'll help the learning curve in a lot of different ways, and you'll get a damn good interior offensive lineman who might give you tackle upside in the future. I think that he is everything that Tennessee wants from an offensive lineman, and so I think this is a perfect fit for me.
Yeah, I think my viewers might be a little bit bored with that because I've done that like nearly every time, but for a good but for a good reason though. I think it really is like the best team to player fit in the draft, or right up there. It makes just too much sense. So I don't blame you even for a second. Tampa Bay at 27. See, they have the luxury of being so good that you can just kind of take a lot of different things here. A lot of different ways to approach this. I don't know. What's your inkling? Talk me into something here for Tampa, because I like a lot of different players. I think they could just be a best player available type deal, which is kind of where they've been living recently. So
yeah,
what are you leaning toward here?
I think, obviously, you said it. There's a lot of options on the table. I'd love to pick Tyler Linderbaum, but you have to be convinced that he could gain weight. That's the thing. Yeah. Like, he can't play in Tampa's scheme at 290 pounds.
Now,
like,
he did get up to about 304, 305 at his pro day. Still looked every bit as athletic as you saw on tape. So,
which was interesting.
Potential.
I know he was hurt, but I just wonder if he's going to play above 300 pounds.
That's the thing, is that if you are confident enough that he could play close to like 305, 310, then I'd really consider him here because, dude, I mean, their offensive line at that point would be Donovan Smith, Shaq Mason, Ryan Jensen, Tyler Linderbaum, and Tristan Wirfs. I mean, it'd be absolutely hilarious. But I think corner is also something that they're really going to take a look at, both corner and safety, because if you fast forward past this season, Antoine Winfield Jr. and Carlton Davis are the only 2 players who I think are under contract. Logan Ryan might have signed a 2-year deal, but I think the second year is non-guaranteed. So those are the only 2 guys who have like guaranteed money on the roster for next year. So they have already shown that they're a team that loves to invest in the secondary. So honestly, it would either be a preference between Andrew Booth and Kyer Elam, Lewis Cine, or Tyler Linderbaum. Those would be the 4 players that I would present to you as legit options for them at 27.
Yeah, I was thinking about Booth. I'll tell you what I'm also thinking about, which you didn't name, and I didn't think you would. But Devin Lloyd here at 27. You know, Levante David's great, but not getting any younger. Could get another linebacker in there. We know they'd like to invest high with Devin White in the top 5. I think he was number 5 overall. But yeah, I am going to take Booth here. We just saw, and this is a rare instance, right, where you're going to have 3 corners, your top guys all injured, but it looked so terrible without those guys on the field. You just had nothing. And Booth is a high upside guy too, so I think this is kind of the best of both worlds here.
Yeah, and as Trevor always points to, in 2023, they're going to, have a couple of guys coming up on free agency. So,
yeah, they got back for nothing. It was kind of wild.
Insane. All right, Green Bay. I've gotten
Brady effect, baby.
Twice now. Traylon Burks went at 22, so they don't need a wide receiver in this spot. Interesting situation. Not a great board for them. I don't see them taking a linebacker. Devin Lloyd would be my best player available here alongside Linderbaum. Don't see that one happening. I know they took Josh Myers last year. This is a little tricky. I would like to draft and stash David Ojabo. Actually, that's what I'm going to do, because It was either him or Lewis Seen here, and I really like Lewis Seen. I'd have no problem doing that. I just know with the Chiefs lurking after this, you got to get a Jabo now, and I think he'll be back for a postseason run and just totally load up that front where, God, he could do some dangerous things as a designated pass rusher on 3rd and 4th downs late in this year while he develops into a full-time player. So I'm just playing the board and getting who I think is one of the best players on the board that fits a need for them.
Yeah, I mean, they fit their profile, the athletic edge guys, too. So go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, absolutely. 29. This is super easy for me. Connor knows who I'm going to pick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is Georgia wide receiver George Pickens.
Like that a lot.
I think this is a great fit, in my honest opinion. They're going to have to use a lot of resources to try to make up for Tyreek Hill. It's not going to be one rookie, certainly, who is able to do that because he was one of the most explosive and one of the biggest mismatches in the entire NFL. But I think George Pickens' ceiling is that of a wide receiver one. The size, the strength, the speed, it's all there for him. Him getting to play with Mahomes, honestly, a 1,000-yard season as a rookie is not out of the question if he is able to stay healthy and Mahomes is his quarterback. So I think that he fits the profile that they need as a guy who could be on the line of scrimmage as an X. So I think this is a no-brainer for me.
Like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, I remember I DM'd you like right after the draft. You had released your 2022 like way too early mock draft, and George Pickens was like a top 5, top 10 guy. And it was unfortunate. I don't know if you knew about the ACL tear at the time. But yeah, Pickens, if not for the injury, I mean, he's an easy first-round pick, first-round lock.
Right. Yep, he is. I totally forgot about the ACL tear when I did that way too early mock draft.
A lot going on at that time.
He still would have been in my first round. Probably just wouldn't have been as high as I initially had put him.
Yeah. This one's interesting for me. For the Chiefs, I want to get pass rush help so badly, but I don't love the options for the Chiefs. I'd like to selfishly go Logan Hall here. I think that he goes a lot earlier than what is indicated. I get roasted every time I do that, but like the Packers Chiefs for Logan Hall just feels so right. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I don't care. So I'm going Logan Hall.
If you didn't pick him there at 30, he would have been an option at 31 for sure. I think he'd be a great pick for the Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals need help on their defensive line a little bit still, especially those guys that can play multiple alignments. He can play 3-tech, he can play 5-tech. He'd be a fun player for that defense. And this is a pick Trevor and I always laugh at because Devin Lloyd sitting there is insane to me. But if you take a linebacker for the Bengals, you will not have a good day when that mock draft comes out. So, not going to do that. But I'm also not going to rip off the guest mock draft series either. So, for me here, I'm actually going to go Tyler Linderbaum and complete their offensive line. And my thought behind that is, with the Bengals, yes, they went out. They got Lyle Collins, which is a monster ad. They got Alex Kappa, which is a monster ad. But Ted Karras is someone that has played guard before. So you move him to left guard, you play Linderbaum at center, and you got yourself a pretty gnarly offensive line after it was god-awful last year. So I actually think Linderbaum makes it to the second round in this draft. I'm comfortably there. But this is a pick where, since there's no obvious answer for the Bengals, I'm going to go with what I would do and what I think is the best possible situation. He's a top 10 player in this draft.
All right, final pick, Detroit Lions. So we had Jeff Risden on for our guest mock draft for the Detroit Lions at 32, and Connor specifically asked him about linebacker because there's probably going to be some really good linebackers as there are on this board, and Jeff told us, he's like, they like their linebackers. They're probably not going to have one super high on the board here. So Devin Lloyd, Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, whoever it is, he said that they're probably not going to consider a linebacker at 32, especially if there is a safety on the board like Lewis Seen, who is the player that I'm going to pick here. Safety is a massive need for the Detroit Lions, so much so that you could even talk yourself into the Lions maybe considering Kyle Hamilton at number 2 overall. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's how big of a need we're talking about for this team. And so don't think they're going to address it at the top of the first round. I think they'll address it here at either 32 or they also have pick number 34. But here, Lewis Seen's on the board. I'm going to go Lewis Seen.
I think that's a really good way to wrap things up. A lot of good players still available, but yeah, maybe speaks to the depth of this draft. It's a lot of fun, though.
This is great. This is every time. It's so funny. People can kind of complain about mock drafts, like they see a lot of them, but this mock is a mock that I hadn't seen before. Like the combination of trades and picks and players, like I hadn't seen this one before. So this is it's the possibilities are always endless, and it's a lot of fun because you logic yourself into every selection. So you go like, yeah, okay, like that definitely makes sense. I could totally see that. And then at the end of the day, you go outside the first round and you go, oh, how did this person not get picked? How did this person not get picked? And you go, okay, where do you want to put them? Because I told you good reasons of why the players we picked were the players we picked, and that's why mock drafts are always.
Well, I have a counterpoint for that. Is you're an idiot if you let X players slip to the second round. Do you not know anything?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Both of those things are true. I am an idiot, and I don't know anything. I mean, I don't have any argument.
It's kind of where I live.
I think we also showed like where the trades should happen in this draft. It's pretty quiet early on. Then you reach this point where certain players at certain needs have to go. Like teams got to be aggressive in the middle. And then at the end, all these teams, because they're really good, like the Chiefs, like the Packers, like the Bucks, like the Bills, are like, somebody's going to fall into our lap. We don't need to trade anything to go up. We're going to be just fine. And I think ultimately that's what it's going to be closer to on draft night, besides the Cowboys, because the Cowboys are absolute maniacs, and you can never bet against them doing something wild to move up.
The hardest thing to predict about mock drafts, and I tell everybody this, isn't getting a good player to a certain team for a good situation. That part's easy. The hardest part about mock drafts is predicting the inevitable, really weird, stupid, off-the-wall picks that you know are going to happen. That is the most difficult part of doing this entire exercise.
Alex Leatherwood last year.
The Raiders, Damon Arnett.
Yep.
Oh, Cleveland Farrell at 4.
Oh, man. If there's Raiders fans watching it, they've been through it. It's looking up now. It's looking up.
Maybe. I mean, it can't go anywhere else. You know? The rest of the division just turned into absolute titans, so maybe it can't go up. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Got some pretty good players in free agency. We'll have to see what happens. And Devontae Adams too via trade.
It doesn't hurt.
AFC West is going to be crazy to call. It's going to be wild because all those teams inevitably can't make the playoffs, even though they all kind of feel like playoff caliber teams. So we'll see. But thank you guys for joining me. Absolute blast. Be sure to check them out in the description if you're watching this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.
Taking it back to the house. Defensive joke. I'm laughing so loud.